Despite attempting to build new stars, creating intriguing storylines and entertaining shows from week to week, and also the Lana Bobby Lashley story, Paul Heyman was removed as Raw Executive Director in June this year. While Heyman has remained as an on-screen character, now aligning himself with Roman Reigns on SmackDown, things haven't been quite so rosy for the talent he was attempting to build up prior to his removal as Executive Director. It was reported on Wrestling Observer Radio earlier this year, when Heyman was originally removed from his creative position, that names such as Aleister Black and Andrade could be in trouble regarding their position within WWE, as they had been protected creatively by Heyman from Vince McMahon, who reportedly didn't see as much in them as Heyman did, and that safeguard was now gone. The downfall may now have begun for both of these names in particular, as Zelina Vega officially broke away from Andrade and Angel Garza on this week's Raw, inserting herself into the Raw Women's title picture with Asuka, while Andrade and Garza continue to feud over Montez Ford being poisoned. Why were they annoyed at each other again? It's been reported in the past that Vince McMahon likes Angel Garza, calling him a younger version of Eddie Guerrero. So if Andrade and Garza had the inevitable tag team splitting up feud, you'd expect Garza to go over. Meanwhile, Aleister Black just turned heel with a cool new look and was feuding with Kevin Owens, which sounds pretty good, but he also was featured heavily on Raw Underground and lost clean to Owens on Raw, despite attacking him before the bell, which is less good. Plus, he's got that bloody creaky noise on his entrance, and that's stupid. Do you think Black and Andrade's pushes are in jeopardy? Let me know in the comments, because I'll be replying to people from out of Aleister Black's creaky floorboards. But while Black losing to Owens may be considered a botch to his push by some fans, there was another botch that drew much more attention on Raw. Mickie James and Asuka faced off for the Raw Women's Championship on this week's episode, and while it was a great 5-minute back and forth match, it ended very bizarrely, with the referee seemingly calling off the match for no reason at all, as James was attempting to counter the Asuka lock into a pinning combination. James seemed just as shocked as anyone else about this decision, but it was speculated at the time by Lance Storm and Mick Foley that James's shoulder had popped out and the referee was being safe. As it turns out, Mickie James is just really good at wrestling. According to a report from PW Insider, the planned finish for the match was still for James to tap out to the Asuka lock, but the bell was rung prematurely. According to their sources, James is actually fine with no injuries at all, but she sold the Asuka lock so well that the referee thought she'd injured herself and called the match early. It's at least reassuring that referees can make judgment calls in the moment to protect performers in the ring, and it's probably a smart move on his part if he thought James was legitimately injured, but Mickie, you just need to stop being so good at wrestling, please. Thanks. This episode of Raw also saw Braun Strowman return to the Red Brand, ending with him having a standoff against Yabba Dabba Kato in Raw Underground. Dabba Kato, of course, being formerly known as Babatunde, who was eliminated by Braun Strowman in the Greatest Royal Rumble. Long-term booking! But it's now been revealed why WWE have changed a few names of their wrestlers. In the case of Dabba Kato, his real full name is Babatunde Ayegbusi, sorry if I butchered that, and WWE didn't own the rights to his real name, so they changed it in case he became a star and went to wrestle elsewhere, according to a report from Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio. An interesting point to note there is that WWE don't own Dabba Kato's real name, Babatunde, because Ryback recently stated that WWE did own his real name while he was under contract there. Appearing on Ryback TV Shooting Blank's Wrestling Report with Raj Giri, rolls right off the tongue, he read out a part of his WWE contract, which claimed to own his ring name, likeness, signature, props, gestures, routines, and crucially, his real name. This has been a point of contention recently with WWE's edicts surrounding third-party content and their use of their ring name and likeness on platforms such as Twitch and Cameo. It's still unknown what is exactly allowed from the wrestlers, though it seems like Cameo is definitely one that won't be allowed. This definitely isn't the first time WWE has changed up a wrestler's name, even after they've been wrestling with them for a while, with infamous examples such as Alexander Rusev, Antonio Cesaro, Andrade Cien Almas, Buddy Murphy, Big E Langston, the list goes on. We've known for a while that it was a Vince McMahon decision to change the names of Rusev and Cesaro, but it was only just revealed exactly why on the same episode of Wrestling Observer Radio. There was a meeting, and at the meeting, Vince goes, "We've got to drop that first name," and it was like, Why? And Vince goes, if we call him Alexander Rusev, people are gonna start calling him Alex, and Alex is not a good name for a heel. And the same thing happened with Cesaro. The reason they dropped Antonio Cesaro was because Vince said people are gonna start calling him Tony, and Tony is not a heel name, so we've gotta drop the first name. Fat Tony from The Simpsons would like to have a word. He's a mafia boss, you know. But referees, botching finishes, and Raw Underground segments aside, this week's in-your-face episode of Raw was pretty good, with Hurt Business looking like badasses to close the show. But that unfortunately didn't reflect in the ratings. Raw was up against competition from NFL's Monday Night Football and managed to draw 1.69 million viewers, down from last week's 1.72 million. Only dropping 0.03 million viewers is a good sign though, considering last week there was no competition at all. There's some more good news for WWE as well, because it turns out their wrestlers are much happier. Because we do exclusives now, don't you know? WrestleTalk's Louis Dangor exclusively reported that backstage morale within WWE was much higher in the ThunderDome era than in the Performance Center era of WWE programming. Sources within WWE attribute this mainly to the move to the Amway Center, as there is much more space backstage compared to the Performance Center. Some SmackDown roster members have also attributed this to the return of Roman Reigns, who is a clear locker room leader backstage. Whatever it may be, wrestlers and talent are much happier these days, which is a big win for everyone involved. Plus, the Thunderdome means NXT talent aren't standing around for 12-hour days half-heartedly cheering on matches, which is good for them. And their legs. But something that's good for you is this quick message from our fearless leader, Mr. Davis.
Issue 22 of WrestleTalk magazine is here. We've listened to readers' feedback and we've acted. This stacked issue is now available in select UK stores and in print and digital form at WrestleTalkMerch.com for worldwide shipping. And we're very excited to welcome Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp and TalkSport's Alex McCarthy to the writing team for the first time. We'll also read even more opinions on the wrestling world from the whole of the WrestleTalk team, including me, Jam That Champion. This month we asked the question, has 2020 been the year of the resurrection of Randy Orton? We reflect on the 18-year journey of new AEW recruit Eddie Kingston, look at the use of the rules of storytelling in wrestling, and so much more. Support wrestling print media by ordering via the link below, or go one better and subscribe. Mr. Davis commands you to.
Ordering the magazine will make you become the best man, you know? Much like Miro is the best man in AEW. I can't segue like you, Mr. Davis, but I can try. Miro will presumably be on AEW Dynamite tonight as his new best man gimmick. And he's not just the best man for Kip Sabian's wedding, he's not just the best man for being handsome, he's also the best man for shooting on the wrestling industry while on Twitch. The runner-up award goes to AJ Styles. In an excerpt from his Twitch stream posted to his YouTube channel, Miro talked about his AEW debut last week and meeting various people backstage. When asked whether he's excited to work again with his former WWE colleague Pac, he quite definitively said, Rusev, no. Pac already tore my bicep. I'm not working with him anymore. I'm done with him. I'm not working with Pac anymore. Miro is referring to an October 2015 episode of Main Event, but these comments could just be him doing a work work. Brother. Pac is currently staying in the UK during the pandemic, so he hasn't been appearing on AEW. Not content with Pac though, Miro then called out the entire wrestling business. Our industry is full of carny bad people, and I just want them to go. Business back in the day was completely different than now, but business evolves. The professional wrestling evolves, and these people are just stuck in the 60s. It's unknown who exactly Miro is referring to, but in the stream's context, it seems to be about people he dealt with before he got to AEW. Make the most of the random Miro shoots while you can though, as Lana might delete his social media accounts altogether. Since Miro debuted in AEW, WWE has booked his real-life wife Lana in a flirting segment with Angel Garza and in a Nia Jax putting her through the commentary table spot, which is all definitely totally unrelated. But Lana has instead accused her social media followers for bullying. It's crazy to me that I can post a video on my Instagram and get so much hate and cyberbullying comments, and then Natalia can post the exact same video and everyone will say it's the best TikTok ever. It's the same video that I made. Why are all of you such bullies to me? If all of you keep coming at me in cyberbullying ways, the entire household of Miro and my social medias will be turned off. Mental health is the most important. Cyberbullying can really affect someone's mental health. Please have respect and stop cyberbullying me. As a super speedy roundup of everything else happening in wrestling news, Jeff Cobb appears to have signed with New Japan after working a few dates with AEW earlier this year. He'll be in the G1 tournament that starts this weekend, which will be live streaming the biggest matches on Wrestle2 for with our resident New Japan expert Tempest. Booker T has revealed on his podcast that he tested positive for the coronavirus back at the end of June after only just getting his results back. He had tested negative 3 times since. And congratulations to Sasha Banks for officially entering Star Wars canon, who was shown in the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer. It's speculated the new series will definitely have some kind of Star Wars style wrestling promotion, right? A WWE star is reportedly leaving the company soon. Click the video on the right to find out what's going on, and we've got a brand new interview with AEW Santana and Ortiz with Louis Dangoor. Click the video below that to watch it on Wrestle2. Order your copy of the WrestleTalk magazine now using the link below. I've been Corporate Chopper, and I will expose you, lukewarm Luke Owen.